All right, welcome back to Baltimore. We're live. It is very noisy here because within moments, many people who are walking through the streets of Baltimore will converge here for a big youth rally. Although when you listen to the music, it sounds like the rally is already underway. So I'm going to continue my conversation with HLN's Joey Jackson, a legal analyst and a criminal defense attorney. Also with me, Cheryl Dorsey. She's a retired Los Angeles police sergeant and a member of the National Coalition of Law Enforcement Officers for Justice. All right, glad you guys can hang with us. I know we're all excited about the new princess, however. We were all commenting, we couldn't help it. Who looks that good after having birth, just hours after, with high heels? No fair.
8 pounds at that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a big baby.
I know. Well, that's a nice little departure. But back here, the big concern has been the case involving Freddie Gray's death and the 6 police officers who are now facing some very serious charges. I asked you earlier about the message being sent when you have 6 police officers who are charged in a death like this, and then you have peaceful protesters who will converge here and they will be met by police presence and National Guard. The mixed message it sends. So I want to get your response on that now, Joey, because the prosecutor said it is her hope that moving forward with these charges would be an answer to the call from the community.
Right. You know, listen, Frederica, it's about ultimately finding accountability. And I certainly believe that the police who are out here, and they've been very friendly and gracious and wonderful to us for sure, in addition to the members of the crowd, they can separate the two. If there are bad people, and in the indictment, the county attorney was very clear. The state attorney said, look, the police, we honor you, we salute you. However, those who have engaged in acts of injustice need to be held accountable, and that's what the indictment does. And so for the protesters who are here, who are doing honorable things, who are exercising their First Amendment right, we all have the right, it should be exercised, as long as it's done so peacefully. And that's what they're here for, Frederica, to restore peace and order. But in terms of the indictments, there's a long way moving forward. An indictment, as a reminder, is a mere accusation. It's an accusation that is really 2 things. One,
and we aren't there yet, the indictment.
Exactly. Probable cause to believe that a crime was committed, and B, that in fact it was these police officers who did it. And so the reality is that that's what they'll pursue. But we're a long way to go in this particular case.
These officers all surrendered voluntarily, and they all posted bond between $200,000 and $300,000. They had to interact with their fellow officers during this entire process. What has been your experience as a former LAPD sergeant whenever an investigation involved one of your own? What was that relationship like between the brothers and sisters of police?
Well, you know, you're torn because you have an affinity for that person, but at the same time, you have a job to do going forward. And so at least on the Los Angeles Police Department, you know, we're not allowed to associate with known felons. And so we had to step away in those instances when it was someone that we knew who happened to be a police officer was accused of a crime. And so that's just the way it is, you know, chips fall where they may.
How uncomfortable might it be for these Baltimore police officers, some of whom are posted out here for the protest, or some of whom, you know, are defending to the end the actions of the officers, especially when you hear the Fraternal Order of Police attorney who says they did nothing wrong, there was a rush to judgment?
You know, my guess is that there's probably a segment among those officers who feel like this is a little too celebratory. This is almost like an in-your-face officer, right? And so I'm sure there's some that are probably taken aback by it, but at the same time, they have a job to do and they have a professional front to show to the public, and so they will do that in their demeanor, in their command presence, in the way that they stand guard, if you will, today. And so I think by and large that the majority of the officers are going to do the right thing going forward.
All right, we're going to leave it right there. Cheryl Dorsey, Joey Jackson, thank you so much. Appreciate it.